Hey everyone, and welcome to my review of Nariaki Obukuro's debut solo album, Bunriha no Natsu. So this is the album. I ordered this off of Amazon Japan. It is 14 tracks long, and I'll give you guys a little look at the interior. It's fairly simplistic design. The booklet opens in the Japanese way from right to left, and the interior has no pictures. It's just this plain text, and all of the credits are in English back here, so that makes it really easy to read for us Westerners. And you might be able to see that Nariaki included the German translation for the title of this album here, and I believe there's a specific reason for that, and let me bore you for a minute and try to explain why I think that is. So Bunriha is a Japanese word for secession. I still don't really know how to say that. I say everything wrong, but that means the action of withdrawing formally from membership of a federation or body, especially political state. He included the German word for that on here, secession. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced similarly. I don't actually know how to pronounce much German, because there was a architecture foundation created in the 1880s in Japan which adopted Austrian and German architecture style, and they were called Bunriha Kenchikukai. I believe Nariaki is trying to tell us something with that, where something about Europe and something about this idea of cessation is tied into his ideas behind this album. So this album includes a couple tracks where Nariaki is just speaking. And at first I was a little thrown by that, but I eventually learned to enjoy those tracks. Occasionally I'm not totally in the mood to listen to them, I will skip them. But this album opens with the first track, 042616 at London. And apparently these numbers that he's included on those tracks, they have some kind of meaning. They're a play on words. I think someone on Twitter said that they're like a code for his name, and I don't totally remember it, but apparently there is a meaning there. This track is unique because behind his words we do hear a sighing electric guitar, and as it continues on, a string instrument is added in, and eventually he stops talking and the instruments kind of lead us out of the track. I personally really liked that. I liked the instruments added in there. The next track is a song called Game. I was really impressed by this song. I absolutely love this song. Nariaki is really letting you know what his vocal range is in this song right off the bat. He pretty much does in almost every song, but Nariaki has a massive vocal range. I've talked about him a little bit before. As you guys know, he collaborated with Utada Hikaru on her track Tomodachi on Phantom, and she also produced this album for him. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but I have talked about that before as well. But yeah, Nariaki can sing very low, and he can also sing very, very high in a falsetto voice. I find this song gets stuck in my head all the time, especially the chorus. It's almost a cutesy, childlike song during the choruses, but he kind of gets more serious after the high falsetto parts, and his voice gets very sweeping with the instruments. This song is about trying to resist falling in love with someone. I think it's just a really interesting blend of sort of like simple and cutesy with this very beautiful, like almost epic sound, and they come together in a really interesting way. The next song is I Prima Vesi, and I'm not 100% sure what that is either. It sounds like it could be like a pasta. I have a feeling it might be a wine or something like that. There's a lot of talk about drinking in the choruses of this song, but I absolutely love this song. I think I said that about the last song too. I love all the songs on this album. Let's just get that out of the way. So I apologize if that gets redundant if I'm saying that with every song. In this song, Nariaki is singing more in like a mid-comfortable range. At the beginning of the song, there is a little bit of a chipmunked voice, and I love it. He used that a couple times on this album, and I think he uses it so tastefully, and I think it's so adorable, but not annoying. I just love the guitar and the way he belts in this song, and the lyrics are extremely melancholy. I think that's something he and Utada Hikaru kind of mesh on. Their lyric writing styles are somewhat similar. The song ends on Nariaki singing almost in a casual way a cappella, and it's so melancholy but beautiful. The next song is Daydreaming in Guam. The lyrics of this song really paint a specific picture to me. The title of this album refers to summer, and there are several references throughout the album to the season of summer, and I feel like that has a significance to Nariaki. The song seems to be about a lost love, or perhaps even a estranged family member. There's several references to this person's mother father, which makes me lean more towards that it's about the death of a family member. And at the ending of the song, he says he will only dream until he sees this person again. So that's what makes me think that it's about a death. This song almost leans into rock. There is kind of like a wailing electric guitar in there, and Nariaki is hitting the choruses very hard and passionately with his voice. Because rock guitars are not my favorite, I have to say this isn't among my favorites on the album, but I still really enjoyed this song. His voice is insane on this track. Track 5 is Selfish, and this was the second single we got off this album, and it has a music video up on Nariaki's YouTube channel, which thankfully is not region locked. The way he performs the song and ties all the phrases and notes together with his voice kind of reminds me of Enka. It's sort of a ballad style, but with a little bit more of an experimental sound with the instruments. I also noticed in the video that the video is consisting of very long shots. It's only a few shots, and I've noticed that that's very popular in music videos today, and I personally really like it. I think it's really cool. I absolutely love how Nariaki sings the E vowels at this part of the song. The thing I like about this song is that he really doesn't rush through it, and I found that with all of his songs on this album that he really gives each one enough time to play out, and he really leans into it with his vocal stylings and his vocal solos, and he just allows enough time for each emotion in every song to play out, and I think that's really the high point of this album. I feel like the meaning of this song, Selfish, is the feeling of standing apart from the rest of the world or the rest of society and trying to deal with that feeling of being an outsider. The next track is 101117 at El Camino de Santiago, and this is another talking track, and we hear the sound of Nariaki walking across gravel, and I personally like that sound. It's very ambient. Unfortunately, my Japanese listening skills aren't great, so I can't really describe to you guys much of what he does talk about in these tracks. But yeah, I have the same sort of feelings where sometimes I listen to this and sometimes I just skip it if I don't feel like listening to it. Now that I'm looking in the credits for the album, this isn't even Nariaki speaking on the track, it's Ito Sakai, and on the first track, the London track, it's Hiroyuki Yagi. Could have fooled me. I honestly thought it was the same person on each track, and I thought it was Nariaki, but anyway. The next song is Summer Reminds Me, and again in the credits, Utada Hikaru is credited as recording the guitar, electric guitar. And I'm not sure if that means she was just there like pressing record or if she actually played it, because then Nariaki is credited after that as the guitar player. I really like the flutes and other instruments in this song, but I'm not too into the electric guitar. Again, it's just not my thing. So yeah, although I like this song, it's not one of the standouts for me amongst this album. Anyway, this song is about maybe something similar to the last song, but to me, the lyrics mean seeing something that has sort of like a negative or traumatizing memory attached to it and feeling unable to escape that because you have to pass that thing every day. And the thing particularly in the lyrics that makes me think that is he says, "I'll take my time getting home, that's the day I cried more than I ever had." Track 8 is Good Boy, and I'm still not totally sure what Nariaki means by he's a good boy, but this song made me particularly feel that he is probably from like a small town and he now lives in a big city, and that's tied into him feeling like his internal feelings are always struggling to come out, but he is sort of masking them with his exterior actions and appearance. But yeah, so this song has some jazzy instruments, a little bit of guitar, drums, and with some kind of cute synth added in there as like an underlayer, and I really enjoy it. Coming up next is Lonely One featuring Utada Hikaru, and I've already talked about this song quite a bit. I still love this song. It's actually my favorite song in the album, and it's not just because Utada is on the track. I think even if she weren't, I would still really love this song and it'd probably still be my favorite. I think just everything on this track is masterfully done. Utada Hikaru is credited as co-writer on this track, so I'm assuming she wrote just her verse that she sings in it. There's also a vocal direction credit for Hikaru from Akira Miyake. So I'm wondering if that is a vocal coach for Utada Hikaru, and if she or he is helping her develop her voice more and heal her voice from the damage she sustained after Utada United. The next song is Saikai, which means reunion. If you listen closely, Utada Hikaru does appear vocally on this track again, and she is credited here in the lyric book as well. The theme of the song seems to be fairly similar to previous songs we've heard. Overall, I like the instrumentation of the song pretty well. It's again a rather melancholy song. The next track is Myoga Dani Nite, which means at Myogadani, and I looked it up, and Myogadani is just a district in Tokyo, and this is a rather short track. It's 42 seconds long. It opens with a filtered voice that is kind of funny sounding, and I'm wondering if this is an area in Tokyo that kind of inspired him. The next song is Natsu no Yume, which means dream of summer, and I couldn't find a translation for this song anywhere, but it is again a rather sad but extremely beautiful song, and I really love this song. It's another song where Nariaki really takes his time. Track 13 is Kadode, which means departure. When I first heard this song, I was a little bit taken aback. It's a little weird compared to the rest of the album, but now I love it. Again, we're hearing a little bit of filtered voice, sort of serving as a backup, but I love it in this song. I love the la 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 parts that filtered voice sings. I love the chorus, how Nariaki sings in this chorus, that the extreme up and downs. It seems like he's really showing off some stamina here, because it sounds like he doesn't pause for breath often. He's really controlling his voice and his air. So yeah, this is one of my most favorite tracks on the album. It's just a little bit more fun than the other darker, sadder songs, and it's just a little different. The last song on this album is I Know Zenshin, and this is a really interesting song. It's a pretty long song, and the song changes and transitions throughout. I think that's quite indicative of the title of the song. Again, Nariaki is showing off his vocals in this song, but how can he not? He's just amazing as a vocalist. I love so much his vocal solos in this song. He just is really showing off, and it's gorgeous. The track leads us out with some toned down instrumentals, and I thought it was just such an epic way to end this album. So that was everything for Bunriha no Natsu by Nariaki Obukuro. Overall, I highly recommend this album. It is up on Spotify if you want to check it out if you haven't already. Also, you can check out his singles on his YouTube channel. If I had to say anything negative about this album, is that it might come across as a little bit pretentious. It's rather artsy. This isn't a pop album if you're looking for a traditional J-pop album. This is just a very artsy work. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's also not so out there that you might feel alienated by it or get a headache from it. I really like it. I will definitely be picking up whatever Nariaki Obukuro puts out in the future, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought of this album if you have heard it or if you're planning on checking it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.